Here on the OCU Athletics Update, we're talking to Delaware Resource Group Superstar Athlete of the Week. Kirsten Thomas, senior goalkeeper from Keller, Texas, has been named the Sooner Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Week 4 consecutive times. Kirsten, I'm going to ask you to pick out some highlights from this season, but with a four straight in a row of Defensive Player of the Week, I would imagine that list is quite long.
So far our season's gone really great. I know 2 of those weeks I was named National Defensive Player of the Week, which was, really awesome. And so far I've had a great experience this season. We've had good results against ranked teams so far. I know now we're ranked number 1 in the conference, which is so awesome for our team. And so I hope that we can keep that and look good in the playoffs.
6 shutouts for the team this year. What's the rapport like between you and the rest of the defense?
With the defense, it's really all about communication and trust. I have to trust them to make sure that they're making the right decisions, and of course, they have to trust me. With my position, I have to constantly communicate with the rest of the team, and so they just have to trust me and know what I'm saying.
2 of those shutouts were against ranked opponents, John Brown and then also Oklahoma Wesleyan. What do you remember about those 2 games?
Both those games were really great. I did have a lot of saves. It was a pretty hectic game, very intense, but the team definitely worked hard. A lot of hard work out there. I had numerous good saves during those, so it was a good experience. Yeah.
Which of your teammates on defense has stood out?
Kayla A.M. has had a really great season so far. She was an outside mid, and then she got moved to right defense this year, and she has been playing absolutely great. She is a very aggressive player, and I think that she's done a lot for our defense this year.
What attributes are necessary for a successful goalkeeper?
Definitely quick reflexes, good on your feet. Definitely is like communication, so that you can stop the problem before it even occurs. Now when I'm playing, it's more of muscle memory. I've been playing my position for so long.
How do you kind of develop those attributes?
Just practice, goalkeeping training, doing footwork and stuff, and I think a lot of it has to do with experience as well.
You're a nursing major, correct?
I am.
So what's been the most challenging part of balancing the schedule of a nursing major with the schedule of an athlete?
Definitely a lot. You have to have a lot of good time management. I have tests weekly pretty much, and so it's a lot about balancing the 2. My coach, Coach Harvey, and my professors in the nursing school have done so well with working with me, and so that I can do both. So they're both awesome.
What have been some of the more challenging courses for you?
I would say anatomy and physiology, when I was doing prereqs for nursing school, was difficult, and pharmacology, my first semester of nursing school, was also hard.
What sort of topics are covered in those classes?
Well, with anatomy and physiology, it's more about the human body, how it functions, different parts to it, and then there is a lab that goes with that. But that was really great and has helped me a lot with nursing school so far. And then pharmacology is basically about all the different drugs, specifically for nursing, more about nursing interventions, different side effects to watch for, and such on.
Do you have a specific area of nursing that you're looking at going into?
I've done a lot with clinicals, and I've seen a lot. I really liked cardiology. I thought that was very fascinating, and I liked my ICU step-down floor, so maybe in the critical care field.
All right, talking to Delaware Resource Group Superstar Athlete of the Week, Kirsten Thomas. You can follow the stars on OCUsports.com.
I've learned the most from golf is to have integrity in everything you say and do.
One of the biggest lessons of that sports impacts my daily life is discipline.
Be a champion of character, it just means to realize first that you're a part of something that's bigger than yourself.
Being a part of NAIA is something that I'm going to keep with me forever because it's not only made me a better athlete, but it's made me a better person.
The NAIA really just cares about their student athletes and just the experience in general at the school, and I think that's really important.
The NAIA stands for, has great core values. One that's most important to me is servant leadership. Being able to serve your community is a huge reason why I chose the NAIA.
I am a champion of character.
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 Here on the OCU Athletics Update, we're talking to men's basketball coach Vinay Patel. The Stars get the season underway November the 2nd. And Coach, look back on last year's team for us. Conference regular season champion. You got the program's 1,500th win last season, also advanced in the NAIA tournament. What did you take away from last season?
It was a fun season. We had very high expectations going into the year. I thought we had pieced together a really nice team, a lot of returners with a really nice group of recruits that we added with that team, and I know our expectations were very high going into it, so the fact that we could get a piece of the conference championship with Texas Wesleyan was awesome. I mean, it's the first time in a decade that we've got to have that title, so that was awesome. And going back to the national tournament, actually getting a win there was good. We hadn't done that in 10 years, so it was a lot of fun. We had a great group of guys, and now it's, hey, can we build on that from here? And that's the hope, but it's going to be very challenging this year.
So building for this year, it always starts with the returners. Who are some of the returning players that you're looking to make an impact this year?
Well, we got 6 returners off of last year's team, but 3 that really played for us and have experience, and that's Eric McCollum. We call him Scooter. He should be one of our leaders defensively for sure. I think he's a tremendous rebounder. He's very tough and physical inside. Has a chance to be one of the better big men in the league this year. We return Elijah Chrisman. He's in his 3rd year of our program, and he was our team's 4th leading scorer first semester last year until Eric McCollum joined the program after Christmas, after redshirting in the fall. So Elijah's got some nice experience back and has started several games for us, and he probably has been the biggest bright spot of the returners. Because we didn't know what to expect going into this year. And Elijah really worked his tail off this summer, and he has pleasantly come back ready to go, and I think he's going to have an awesome year this year. And then Mark Howell, who had a lot of experience for us at the point guard position. So, 3 nice pieces that played a lot to build around. But if there's only 3, that means there's a lot of new faces around those 3. And that's the scary part as a coach is a ton of new faces to go along with those 3 guys, and not a lot of just in-game experience together yet.
So who are some of the new guys that you've brought in? I know it's a long list, but who are some of the guys that you're most excited about?
Long list, 10 guys, 10 new guys that you'll see on the roster. We got some instant impact guys. We took a couple one-year guys to help fill some Band-Aid holes right away. Joe Clark, who comes to us from eastern New Mexico. We're going to count on him right away. He's a big guard, 6'4", very athletic, very physical. I love how hard he plays. And then Chris Williams, who's transferred in from Montevallo. He had some huge games at Montevallo, averaged almost 17 a game. I believe he scored 23 or more 9 times last season, including 36-point outing in conference last year. So, those 2 are our one-year guys who we're looking to fill for the wings right away. Brought in a point guard, Trey Bryant, who happened to be Rydell Camage's cousin. So that worked out nicely for us. We got really high expectations for Trey. And then, brought in a sharpshooter, Eric Watry from Hawaii Hilo. And we actually had him on campus 2 years ago out of high school, and he chose to go to Hawaii for a couple years, and now is transferring in for his last 2. So those are kind of the guards we're looking at to really come in and compete for big minutes. And then we got a whole slew of forwards coming in. Anthony Davis from Tarleton State. He was freshman of the year in the Lone Star. His first season playing at Tarleton. Started every game essentially on a national tournament team for them. We brought in Darion Willies from Chaffey College. He was actually the last guy we signed in our class, and we've been pleasantly surprised with how he's come along so far. Added Kelly Kemp. He's from Wewoka, Oklahoma, and played at Seminole Junior College. He'll come to us. He's redshirting this fall semester, and then he'll add on after Christmas. And then we lost one of our new guys, Brandon Combs, big 6'10" kid from northern Oklahoma, Tonkawa. He had to get his patella tendon repaired in his knee, so we won't have him this year, but we'll have him for the next two. So, it's a good group of guys. What I like is it's not very senior laden like it was a year ago. So we got a nice blend this year that I think is going to make for a fun group, but it's just challenging having to teach so much to so many people right now. But these guys have come from good programs. They've been held accountable. We have high expectations for them, and they're coming in and working as hard as they can and figuring things out as fast as possible right now.
The regular season opener is November 2nd against Manhattan Christian. What events are surrounding that game for the faculty and staff here at OCU?
Well, we've bumped that game up. We think we've had, 3 different time changes for that game, something like that. But we've bumped it up to a 4 o'clock tip now. I know Jim Abbott's been working with our new president, Martha Berger, and trying to get all the faculty and staff we can to that game. And that's why we wanted to move the game up to 4 p.m. to give those guys a chance, before they went home from a regular 5 o'clock workday to come, hopefully come out and see what's going on there. And then, it's homecoming weekend, so there's all kinds of things going on with that as well. So a lot of events going on. We're hoping that with all that's going on, we'll get some excitement generated and get some new people out to some games that hadn't been out to some of our games in a little bit.
Street and Smith magazine has your team preseason ranked number 2 in the NAIA. So what does that mean to you as a coaching staff, and what are the expectations for this season?
As a staff, we don't really read much into that because a lot of that is based on what we did last year. And, what's hard for us to grasp is, hey, it's great for our guys to get that recognition, but the guys that really deserve that recognition played last year. And all these new guys, they haven't stepped foot on the court and played one game yet. So it's hard for me to really get excited about that when we got a lot to prove with a new group of guys. What's great is us being able to build up to that. Last year I think we were number 3 in the same magazine. This year we're number 2. And it's awesome to start getting that recognition again for your program. But all that tells me is we got a lot to prove, and it just puts a big target on our back every night we play. So. It's awesome, obviously, for that, but I know there's a lot of new guys that don't really understand what all comes with that yet. And that's our biggest challenge this year, is trying to get those guys caught up into understanding what our expectations are.
League coaches in the Sooner Athletic Conference have also put you guys at the top of the conference preseason standings. How rough is this league, and what kind of competition are you going to see from conference opponents this year?
Well, this is the best it's ever been for as long as I've been here, for my 4 years. This year we added Langston to our conference, which now gives us 6 teams that were in the national tournament last year. So that's half our league right there already that competed in the national tournament. So that just tells you how tough this league is going to be this year. Same thing with the preseason rankings. I don't know how much we can look into that. Us and Texas Wesleyan, I think a point separated the votes, and they've got a whole new team. We've got a whole new team, and a lot of that comes off of us both being co-champions last year. So, for us to get picked at, hey, it's great to get acknowledged by your peers, but we got a lot to work on. We got a lot to fix. We got a lot to correct from our guys right now, and I just hope when it comes November 2nd, we're ready to compete, against a real life opponent, because we're a long ways away from being ready for that right now.
Conference tournament will come back to your home floor at Abe Lemons Arena this year. Is that important to you as a coach to have the conference tournament here at your home building?
I think it's great. We had it 2 years ago, which was my second year here. We made it to the conference tournament championship game before losing to USAO. But it just, if you can make it to here, obviously that's the challenge first of all, but it helps you because it's your home court. There's no question it gives us a little bit of advantage of just playing somewhere that we're accustomed to playing and competing every day. But it also helps with travel. It makes it a little bit easier on a lot of teams with the bulk of our conference being about an hour radius from us. So, I think it's beneficial for our league for it to be here. I think it makes sense for us to do it every other year like we've done here, with travel and all that. But, for us, if we're hosting it, we'd like to be playing in it, and we'd like to be competing for a championship in it, and that's the goal for us.
What was a special event over the weekend in the Lecter Room?
It was an awesome weekend. We had the 1957-1958 Oklahoma City University Chiefs team in attendance in the Lecter Room. They have an annual event where they get together, their team, their spouses, just hang out really for a few hours and remember the past of playing here and talk about what everybody's doing now. And it was an incredible event. I was very fortunate to be able to go to it this year. I've missed it the last couple years, but of that team, of the 5 starters, now you got to understand they played 61 years ago here. And of the 5 starters off that team, 4 are still here with us. 1 wasn't, and the one that wasn't, his wife was representing him. So we had, players from that team. We had Abe Lemon's wife, Betty Jo, was there. Coach Hanson's wife, Carol, was there. And they're 93 and 91 years old, and so they were there as well. So it was just a fun event to remember a team that, again, if you look back in the record books, was a game away from a Final Four back then. So, I thought it was fun hearing their stories, getting to know them a little bit better, and getting them to understand, hey, it's still the same, really. These kids are still doing the same thing you guys were, even though it was 60 years ago. So, fun event. Really appreciative they let me be a part of it this weekend.
Anything else going on in your life? Maybe you and your wife?
Well, my wife and I are expecting our first child. Perfect timing for us. Baby is due March 24th, right in the middle of what would be the national tournament if we were to make it this season. So a lot going on with us, so we're excited about that. And obviously it's our first one, her being the women's basketball assistant here, me working with the men's program makes it a little bit challenging as far as time and things like that. But we're both excited for that. And hopefully, we're competing in Kansas City and we have a little problem on our hands, because that's what we've talked about is what's going to happen if it comes to the date that it's supposed to, and our team is hopefully competing for a national championship this year.
All right, talking to men's basketball coach Vinay Patel. You can follow the Stars on OCUsports.com.